Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Peace and blessings to you and your family, and I trust that you're having your best day. I trust that you're having a fantastic day. So I am here to introduce to you my new series. This series is called Zodiac Man, and the whole idea of this is to link the zodiac signs with the particular minerals that we need for our bodies. So that's the whole purpose of this series. And I'll be going through each zodiac sign from Aries to Pisces to talk about this. So we'll be discussing the 12 mineral salts that are crucial for our bodies, in conjunction with which ones that are more important depending on your zodiac signs, because each zodiac sign is linked to a particular birth salt, mineral salt. Some people call it inorganic salt, but it's pretty much the same thing. So here we're talking about like your potassium, your chlorine, your silica, phosphorus, and so on. I have a list of the 12 main mineral salts, and I'll go through that when I get to that stage, okay? Then I'll show you a chart and describe how you can use that particular chart to discover what your missing mineral salts are based on your zodiac sign. And at this stage, it's important for us to understand, right, that good health doesn't happen by chance. Good health basically happens based on you following the laws. Which laws, Marcia? The laws of God, the Creator, the Almighty, the Supreme Being. You know, in the words of Prince Jerome Armstrong, the Father, the Creator, is the greatest scientist ever, right? He created us all. He created the human structure. He gave us the physical laws. He gave us the law on health. He gave us the law on morals. He operates in order, not chaos, not confusion, in order. He uses numerology. He uses the universe. He uses the stars, the skies, the moon, the sun, you know, to devise this universe that we're currently living in. But all we need to do is to abide by the laws. And in particular, the laws on food. So I always take it back to Genesis 1:29, because that's where it's giving you the blueprint of what the food that we need to consume should consist of. Green herbs, trees, plants, you know, sap from a tree, you know, herbs for the healing. That's what we should be consuming. And that's where, when we start diving into each individual zodiac sign, you'll see that's where you're getting your mineral salts from. Mineral salts are inorganic type salts, right? They don't form blood. They basically supplies the blood with what the blood needs. But in order to do that, that salt, that mineral salt that you're getting, you can't get that from a meat product, from a dairy product. It has to come from live fruits, plants, and herbs. So no matter where you look, no matter how much you search outside of Genesis 1:29, it's going to bring you right back to the law on food. It is our duty to understand that and implement those laws to ensure that we keep this divine vessel that was created for us in perfect shape, perfect harmony in order to be able to help to elevate yourself to the next stage, in our consciousness. So we need to make sure that we're feeding the body properly at all times. And I always talk about Genesis 1:29 because there is telling you what to eat. And behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be your meat. Then Genesis 9:4 goes even further to talk about flesh. But the flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood, ye shall not eat. The old time back, no matter how you cut it, no matter how you dice it, no matter how you go around it, it is still coming back to the fact that the herbs, the fruits, the vegetables are what we're supposed to consume per the law in order to keep this body in good health, physical health, spiritual health. So this is the reason why we need to understand about the mineral salts and what it is that we are missing, what it is that we need to make sure that we have in our bodies to be able to help the body to do its job, which is to restore us back to good health. Man is a trinity. We have the flesh, i.e. the body. We have the soul. We have the spirit. That's what makes us up, right? As human. That's what makes us up. That's our trinity. The quality and condition of the body, i.e. the flesh, determines the soul of man. So whatever we put in our bodies, whatever we put on our bodies, must be there for a reason, for a purpose. Otherwise, it is just causing havoc on the body. Or if you put the right stuff, it's going to put the mineral salts, dispel them where they need to go to keep the body in good health. So whatever we put in the body or on the body, it must be there to feed the soul of man and to be in compliance with God's law. So again, good health is not just by chance. Good health is because you are following the law. Once we go off our law, things start happening in our bodies. But it's never too late. Once you identify that, it's not too late. You can then figure out what is missing, what is going on, and bring yourself back to good health. So Leviticus 17:11 tells us, for the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your soul, because it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. So it's clearly telling you just how important that blood is. So surely, shouldn't we make sure that we're feeding the blood with what it needs to make the atonement for the soul? In the scriptures, where it talks about wine in relation to man, it's really talking about the blood, i.e., the sap of a tree, the juice of a vegetable, the juice of a fruit, the salts from the various vegetables and fruits. That's what's going to feed the blood. These are what provides the cell salts that are needed for your body. So proper cure for any disease is to feed the body, is to supply the body with what is missing. And that's what we're trying to understand, looking at these mineral salts as to what it is that we're deficient in, so we can fix it and allow the body to start restoring itself back to its natural good health. And the only way to get that blood to be pure is to make sure that you're eating the right food, make sure it has the right cell salts that's going to feed the blood. We all need different types of mineral salts to be in full compliance. And that's why I'm bringing this to your attention to say, let's go find out what is missing, what you need to help you to start producing better blood to go into new bottles. Okay, so what are mineral salts? We mentioned that there are 12. I'm going to show that list in a minute. But what are these mineral salts? These mineral salts are inorganic salts naturally found in nature that are essential for the proper functioning of a living organism, providing crucial elements like calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, iron, and so on, which the body needs for growth and maintenance. Salts are found in our food, thus carried on into our blood, where they carry on the process of life. So when the blood is not getting the right combination of food from these 12 cell salts, the right food, i.e. Genesis 1:29, we're talking about fruits and vegetables and herbs and so on. When the body is not getting the right combination of these cell salts, deficiency occurs. It leads to disease, and the only way to cure that is to supply the body with the correct mineral salts or the correct combination of mineral salts to help the body to restore itself. So our job, partially my job, is to identify the missing or lacking of mineral salts in your body using your zodiac signs. Now, when you view the chart, it commences with Aries, okay? And when you go online and you look up horoscope, the majority of them will start with Aries. And they should start with Aries. They must start with Aries because the month of March, April, which is represented in Aries, is the beginning of the Hebrew month that we call Nisan or Abib. Abib. Some people call Abib, some people call Aviv or Nisan. But that is the first true month of the Hebrew lunar calendar. So that's the reason why most of these websites or wherever you look and you're looking at horoscope, they'll always start with Aries, because that's the first month. How we may change and now make January the first month of the year, but it was never like that. Again, our Father doesn't create chaos. He creates order. Everything is done for a reason. Aries or March, April is the first month of the true calendar, Hebrew calendar that was created. If you go into the Bible, the 1619 Bible, the 1775 Bible, which I have, I don't have it personally, but I got something from it, you will see that it displayed the true months in order. And again, March, which is a sign of March, April, which is a sign of Aries. So that is the first true month of the year. So sometimes when you see me come on my channel and I'm talking about I'm going to celebrate the New Year, I'm going to celebrate Passover, it is that time. Because that's the new year. It is not January 1st. Okay, so let's get it off the table just so we can understand why we started with Aries. Okay, so when you look at the chart and you see Aries, so when you look at Aries, you will see what the mineral salts are for Aries, and you go up over to Taurus and you'll see the mineral salts. So for Aries, we're talking about is potassium phosphate. That's their potassium phosphate is their birth salt, their mineral salt for that particular sign. When you go to Taurus, it's going to be sulfur sodium. If you go to Sagittarian, I'm a Sagittarian, it's silica, right? So each zodiac sign has its own particular birth salt or cell salts. So these 12 mineral salts are the material basis of the organs and tissues of the body and are absolutely essential to their integrity, of the structure and function of the body. But they also, it represents, that zodiac sign also represents a particular function in the body. And when you look at the cell salts and you look at the function of the body, it just makes perfect sense. So for example, Aries, which we'll do in another week or two, I'll be doing Aries in its entirety. Aries is known as the ram of God, or the Lamb of God. And it's all about the head, the brain, the optical thalamus, that's right up here, that is Aries. And their birth salt, that's their primary function, is to feed the brain. See, it all makes sense? So again, we'll be starting off from Aries to Pisces. Aries, the head, Pisces, the feet. You see how it makes sense? Why it must start there? It must start with March, April as the first month, because that's covering your head, and then all the other signs covers different parts of the body until you get to the end, your feet, which is Pisces. Each zodiac sign has its own cell salt that is needed in the body to do that function, to maintain that particular bodily function. We want to focus on the ones that are lacking. That's what we need, because at the end of the day, each one of us, we all need to have all of those 12 mineral salts in our bodies operating in optimum conditions at all times. But we all do not have that happening. We are lacking some, and that's the premise of this episode, to talk about what's lacking, or this series, to talk about what mineral salts are lacking based on zodiac signs. And those are the ones that we need to focus on and eat the right food to bring in those salts now back into the body. So combination wise, we will have all 12 working in perfect harmony, like the Father expected, like the Father designed it to happen. So before we dive into how to calculate the missing cell salt in our bodies based on your zodiac sign, or the deficiency that you may have based on your zodiac sign, let's just get something clear. Even though it's talking about 12 zodiac signs, which represents 12 months, in fact, they're actually 13 months. Again, the Father doesn't make mistakes. So, in ancient times, right, when there were no paper calendar hanging on your fridge and on your door or wherever, the calendar that they used was to look up in the sky to look for a new moon. Every new moon, each new moon represented the start of a new month. Each month runs roughly 29.5 days. That equates to about 354 days. We are now operating on a 365-day calendar. Why? Because someone changed it. Because someone made changes to it to get us to this nice, even 12 months. I'm telling you that because when we're doing the calculation, you'll understand why I'm using 13 to get back to where we need to be to understand what our deficiency is. So, if you look on my screen, you'll see I'm showing you excerpts from the 1775 Bible, which one shows you all the names of the months that are in Hebrew. But the 1775 Bible is confirming two major things. One, that there were always 13 months in the ancient time in Hebrew, and that the first day of the week is a Sunday, which means that Saturday is your Sabbath. Just as the sun indicates the beginning of a new day, so does the moon. The new moon indicates the start of a new biblical month. And that new moon is pretty much visible for everyone to see in the sky. Every time you see a new moon, you should know it is the start of a new month. So, in the Bible, where the Father is also asking you to observe and celebrate certain feasts, all of those are measured using the new moon. New moon of the 4th month, new moon of the 1st month, new moon of the 7th month, new moon of the 10th month. All of those are the 4 major celebrations throughout the Bible, and they're all represented by a new moon that no man can ever change. And that's what the calendars were based on, new moons. And that's important because we are tying that back to that Zodiac chart that shows Aries is the first sign, all the way around to the end, from the head all the way to the feet, gets you right back to Pisces, because it's following the lunar calendar, it's following the biblical calendar, it's following the calendar that God created, it's following His creation. But when you're trying, and this is where the 13 months come into play, when you're now looking at the chart to determine what is missing, we need to ask ourselves a couple of questions. What's my birthday? What's my star sign? And from there, you are working anti-clockwise 4 months from your birth sign. So if we're looking, for example, at, who shall I look at? Aries. So if you're going anti-clockwise from Aries, the next one is Taurus. That means that you are missing those cell salts. You're missing Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, and Leo, because we're doing 4. So this means that you are, if you're in Aries, you're missing sulfur, sodium, chlorine, potassium, calcium, fluorine, magnesium, phosphate. Those are the 4 that you are missing. So these are your deficiencies. You must find plant-based meals and food that are rich in these mineral salts in order to counteract that deficiency that is potentially happening in your body because of your zodiac sign. All my calculation is assuming full term. I understand that might not be totally true for everybody. The statistic shows that full term is roughly about 57%, early term birth about 29%, and preterm is about 29%, and late is about 5%. So, but I'm using full term for my calculation. I'm going back to the Hebrew way of doing things, which is there were always 13 months. So that's why I'm saying you're 9 months, because I'm assuming full term, you're 9 months plus the an additional 3.5 months thereof is what you are missing. And that's all we're trying to do, is just to do that calculation to figure out what your deficiencies are, what mineral salts you're deficient in. Once we identify our missing cell salts based on the time of birth to, from conception to birth, then we just identify the foods that would provide us, a rich diet of those missing cell salts, and use those now to compose a dish of raw or cooked smoothies, herbal drinks, fruit juices, green juices, to basically help you to return all of those missing cell salts back into your body. That's the premise of this series. That's what I wanted to bring to your attention. So that's it for this introduction. We will pick this up when we start our next episode, and with Aries, can't wait. And yeah, so thank you for watching. Thank you for being in this space. Thank you I do hope that I've said something that has resonated with you, that will want to make you go and do some more research into your mineral salts. Closing out by giving all thanks and praises to the mighty God, the Creator, who set this whole thing up, created us, not just created us and leave us, created us, gave us rules and laws to abide by, set us up so that we can live an optimal, healthy life as long as we follow the law. That is the crucial part, ladies and gentlemen, is following the law. So let us close out by giving all praise and thanks to the mighty Father, our God, our Creator, who created me, who created you, who gave us life, who gave us the gift of life, this beautiful thing called the gift of life. I know you'll have a blessed day. And I'll talk to you soon. See you on the next episode. Cheers. Bye.
You never hear. All praise.